We're not disappointed. Not many countries called for it. All the G20 countries are going to show up. We have a great statement that will come out. We have achieved great things during the year of our presidency as head of the G20.
What will you say to G20 leaders when they raise the issue of the jailed activists?
We will tell them we have a legal system, we have laws, we implement our laws, and our judiciary is independent, and we do not allow people to lecture us or dictate to us what we should or shouldn't do, just like we don't tell people in the UK or in America or in other places what they should or should not do. We will never sit in judgment of the decision of a German court. That's for Germany to decide. And as a consequence, we will not allow people to sit in judgment of Saudi courts. That's for the Saudi people to decide.
Jamal Khashoggi murder, the jailing of the dissidents still casts a shadow over the kingdom, whatever changes you make here?
I think that people have not been fair when it comes to dealing with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I think they always look for the negative part of it rather than the positive part of it. The murder of Jamal Khashoggi was a terrible tragedy that hit Saudi Arabia very, very hard. Nobody in Saudi Arabia wants a citizen to be murdered. And so what happened is we, like I said, investigated. We held people accountable, and people will be punished for this, and we will try to ensure that something like this never happens again. We have never in the history of Saudi Arabia had a citizen of Saudi Arabia murdered. We don't do this as a government. That's not our policy. And so it is tragic, and I think people have used it in order to cast aspersions on Saudi Arabia. I don't blame them, but it's not, I don't think it's being fair or equitable with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
I must ask you about Loujain al-Hathloul. Today her photograph is on the Louvre Museum in Paris. She's become a symbol of the call to release some of the activists. In an interview in 2018, Mohammed bin Salman said that she was a spy. Why hasn't the evidence been presented?
In our legal system, the evidence is presented after the verdict is rendered so that you don't embarrass somebody who turns out to be innocent. So that's how the system works. Loujain al-Hathloul was detained because of issues relating to national security, dealing with foreign entities, supporting entities hostile to Saudi Arabia. It has nothing to do with advocating for women's right to drive. If every woman who advocated for the right to drive in Saudi Arabia was to be jailed, half the women in Saudi Arabia would be jailed. So this has nothing to do with advocacy or women's rights. This has to do with national security.
But why haven't you presented the evidence? Or the Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, said in 2018 in an interview that the next day he would present the evidence, show the videos which show that Loujain was a spy. Why has that not been released?
I believe that the courts will decide when to release the evidence, and I believe this may have to do with the timing of when the verdict is rendered.
It's been nearly 3 years since she's been in prison without a conviction. Many, including her family, have called for her release.
The courts will decide what her fate will be, and we have to respect the decisions of the court.
But there was no sense in which this could have been a gesture to the world community to tell your G20 partners that the values of the kingdom are in line with the values of the rest of the world?
We have a lot of people who are in jail in Saudi Arabia for various crimes, and you cannot differentiate between one and the other, and you cannot differentiate between somebody who outside entities or media advocate or raise their matter and not advocate for people who are in jail and nobody knows their cases. Do we release every prisoner in Saudi Arabia in order to make a gesture? That's not practical and that's not logical.